After I solved the ghost cube in my last video, I was ready for a harder challenge. I asked you guys what cube I should solve next, and someone commented Puppet Cube 2. So I went searching on Amazon, found the Puppet Cube, and then ordered it. The next day, when my package arrived, I grabbed it off my front porch and unboxed it. This cube is about the size of a normal 3x3, but it looks a lot like a 2x2, especially from this angle. If you flip it around though, it looks way more complex, and as I played with it, the way it turned confused me at first. After further examination, I realized that this is just a 3x3 with large, weirdly shaped corners. I had no idea how difficult solving this Puppet Cube would be. Then, as I mixed it up, I discovered that this cube has a ton of turn restrictions, which would make it very challenging to solve. After I finished scrambling it, I attempted to complete this puzzle. Like most cubes, I started with the cross. 2 minutes later, I finished it and moved on to the corners, which were much harder to solve. Most of the turns I wanted to do were impossible because the giant corner pieces would get in the way of each other. So I decided to ignore the cross and just solve the corners first. I kept making random turns until all the white corner pieces were in the right spot. Then I tried finishing the cross again while maintaining the bottom layer. Although I messed up the corners at one point, I eventually completed all of the first layer after lots of struggling to find the right turns. Next was the second layer. Because there were so many turn restrictions, this layer felt impossible to solve. I made absolutely no progress after about 40 minutes, and I decided to give up. I forced myself to start over though, and throughout the next couple of days, I continued working on finishing the Puppet Cube. After an insanely long time, I completed the first 2 layers and got really lucky because the last layer only had 2 corners that needed to be solved. I thought the last step would be easy, but because of the turn restrictions, nothing I tried worked. As I was testing an algorithm, I messed up, so I had to start the whole cube over again and redo the first 2 layers. I turned and turned until I got a PLL case on the last layer. Then I tried almost every PLL algorithm from every side of the cube, but all of them were impossible to finish because of turn restrictions. I got super frustrated and eventually looked up a tutorial. As I followed the tutorial, I realized I had been solving the Puppet Cube completely wrong. How you're supposed to solve it is by first turning the cube back into its original shape. Then, using a couple different algorithms, you switch the corner pieces until it looks like a completed 2x2. Finally, you finish the edge pieces by first making the cross and then moving them around without messing up the corners using 2 basic PLL algorithms. I wanted this last step to be somewhat challenging, so I ignored the tutorial and figured it out on my own. After countless hours of trying to complete this puzzle, I finished up my last turns and the Puppet Cube 2 was finally solved. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and check out my channel if you want to see more cubing videos like this one.